We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Chapter number 7. So in chapter number 6 we have learned single reaction where multiple reactions were being used, and we have seen how best arrangement can be done so that we can get minimum size of the volume of reactor. But here in the chapter number 7 we are going to learn about our objective is to find out the size in such a way that is the minimum size of the reactor, and second aspect is we need to maximize the desired product formation, definitely. So these are the two objectives of this chapter. So we can learn, we have to find out the minimum size of the reactor, and we have to find out the maximum output of the desired product formation. So now let us take an example of this. There are two parallel reactions taking place, where one is A gives R with a rate constant K1, where we can consider this as the desired product, whereas second reaction is A gives S with a rate constant K2, and it is an undesired product or unwanted product formation is there simultaneously. So what is the rate of formation of R and S can be given by this correlations. R1 is R rate of formation of R is equal to K1 into C raised to A, whereas rate of formation of S is K2 into C raised to A2, where A1 and A2 are the nothing but the order of reaction with reference to the formation of R and formation of S. So now if you take the ratio of these two products, desired product formation to the undesired product formation, and this ratio can be given by K1 by K2. Please read here as a K1 by K2. This is not K2, this is K1 and this is K2. So it should be K1 by K2 into C raised to even minus A2. So now according to the value, if we have to choose a suitable reactor and we have to decide the concentration range, then this A1 minus A2, its value is very significant. Fine. So according to that, the selection of reactor may comes in a picture. So now if the A1 is greater than A2, fine, where desired product formation order is greater than the undesired product formation order, then in that case higher the order, fine, then the unwanted reaction equation shows that high reactant concentration is desirable. So fine, if this is positive, A1 minus A2, A1 is greater than A2, then if it is positive, then if we put higher the value of Ca, then it gives more is the value of R formation. Fine. So for to keep the Ca high, and if we want to keep high Ca, then definitely as we have learned previously, the kinetics of batch reactors are more preferable by maintaining the low conversions and removing the inert from the feed and increasing the pressure in the gas phase systems, we can add it. So but if exactly reverse of that, if A1 is less than A2, if in this reaction, if this is A1 minus A2, A1 minus A2, A1 is less than A2, then it is going to be negative. And if it is going to be negative, definitely this your concentration term goes into denominator. So in that situation, definitely we must have to choose a CSTR. Fine, mixed flow reactor will be a better option. Fine, and we can go for like this, maintaining high conversions, increasing inerts in the feed, and decreasing the pressure in the gas phase system. So and if even A1 is equal to A2, if both are equal, then definitely no specific product distribution, no means the two reactions of the same order, the product distribution is fixed by Q1 and K2, not a specific type of reactor is going to affect the product distribution. Fine. So now if K1 by K2 is a parameter that affects, ultimately we can control by the from the temperature. We can control the temperature of the reactor according to the required particular desired product. So by changing the temperature level of operations, if the activation energy of the two reactions are different, K1 and K2 can be made to vary. Fine. So by using a catalyst, one of the most important feature of the catalyst is its selectivity in repressing or accelerating the specific reactions. So this may be a much more effective way to control the product distribution than any other methods. So here what we want to say that now if we want to control like a K1 by K2 is coming in a picture. So now if the K1 is higher, if this ratio is more than 1, higher the ratio, then in that situation we prefer to have higher temperature, so that higher the temperature K1 will be faster, we can have more desired product formation compared to the K2. And similarly we can change activation. Definitely K1 is a function of temperature as well as activation energy. So similarly if we have a uh, like activation energy uh, of a desired product formation is high, we need to keep a high temperature, fine. So it favors a more desired product formation. But if K2 is high, exactly reverse, right? If K2 is high, fine, then definitely we have to choose a low temperature operations, fine. And apart from the change in the temperature, we can change the catalyst to change the activation energy, which is also one important aspect. So by changing the catalyst, we can control the activation energy and we can control the temperature desired. So summary ultimately, so for reactions in parallel, the concentration level of reactant is the key to proper control of the product distribution, fine. So a high reactant concentration favors the reactions of high order. So when even managed to do in the previous cases, previous slides, is positive, then higher concentration is preferred for the high orders. That's what it mentions that, fine. And low concentration favors the reactions of lower order or negative or rather. So while concentration level has no effect on the product distribution for reactants of the same order when A1 is equal to A2. So that is what it means. So now these are the three specific way we can add the reactants to the reactor. So if we add A1 and A2 both simultaneously with a large quantity, fine. So where the both are added all of a sudden together in a large quantity are at one time. So this is another case where we are adding both A and B slowly dropwise. So what happens here, you can see that all the reactants are being diluted in the total volume. Definitely means quantity is going to be but higher. Here the both A and B are added slowly, the definitely dilution will be faster. And here we are adding it slowly only one reactant. A quantity is very large but B is added slowly, fine. So now different configuration you can compare with the situation. So like if I have to maintain both high A and C and CB both high, we can choose this configuration. If I want to maintain high A, C and CB, then we can choose this. If I want to maintain both C and CB low, you can add it dropwise slowly in the total volume, so dilution will be faster. Whereas if I want to keep one concentration high, CA high, it should be full of liquid, and we want CB low, then we can add it dropwise. So these are the different possibilities. We have to use it according to the requirement of the system. Fine. So there is one example. For example, it suggests that the contacting pattern of the various configurations are given here. Again, same thing. If we are having a total flow in a plug flow reactor, A and B both are at put simultaneously, so definitely this is a configuration of where C and CB high both. But if we have like multiple CSTRs, so again A and B are added together and its concentration gradually decreases. That's what we have learned in the previous chapter, that tank in series model, which is equivalent to the 1 PFR. Fine. If we add C and CB both together in CSTR simultaneously all together, then definitely again this is going to be a low CB, low CNCB value comes in a picture. Here is high CNCB, which means PFR, low CACB, that is the CSTR, and one component is high like CA in a plug flow and CB in a small addition, that is a intermediate addition in the plug flow reactor. And so both the CA enters in a vertex and CSTR in series, plug flow with addition in branch addition, that is CA high and CB low. So with a reference to specific conditions we can add it. In the previous cases we have only one reactant, fine here. But if there are two reactants and different concentrations comes in a picture, we have to take the similar selection, any one of this. So for example, this is an example where A and B are fed means A plus B gives R plus T, and where its rate of formation of R and rate of formation of T can be given by this, where you can see that order of reaction with reference to is 1.5, in order of reaction with reference to concentration B, that is component B is 0.3. Fine. So if by and second reaction is which is taking place with the formation of S plus U, where Ca and Cb is given by 0.5 and 1.8. So now if we take a ratio of the desired product to undesired product formation, and then it's given by K2, Ca raised to 1.5 minus 0.5, that by comes 1, and second one is Cb raised to 0.3 minus 1.8, that is going to be minus 1.5. So now we have this order Ca into Cb, where Ca is a positive order, Cb is a negative order. So now what you can conclude? So if you have to choose a suitable reactor configuration, then and our R is a desired product formation, so we have to maximize this value, find Ca by Cb. So we have to maximize Ca and minimize this term. Fine, this is because in denominator. So we need a high concentration of A and we need a low concentration of B. That is what we can learn from this configuration. So we need high concentration of Ca. Fine, Ca should be high, whereas Cb should be low. So this is what we need. So these are the configurations suggested, which one is the most best suitable one, or which one is from best to worst. If you have to arrange, you can have it. So Ca here is definitely PFR. So C enters, that is going to be high. Cb is entering in a branch wise, so it is going to be low. So that is a good recommendation. But definitely now here what happens? Cb is low, fine, but Ca is not high, so this is not good. Here C and Cb, Ca is high, fine, but Cb is high, which is not good. And again this is exactly reverse, Cb is high, which is not good, Ca is low, which is not good. So fine, this is how most desirable to least desirable. So this you can see that this is the best possible arrangement if you have to recommend, and this is the worst possible. Fine, where you can get absolutely worst results of your desired product to undesired product formation. So now quantitative treatment, if now ultimately we need to define that how the selectivity is affected. Fine, so in the chemical engineering we have learned that higher conversion and selectivity, these are the two important parameters. So now conversion is fine, so now we are introducing the selectivity. So that is a instantaneous, this is psi instantaneous fractional yield. Fine, it is defined as, which is nothing but the moles of R form divided by moles of A reacted. So how much of the desired product form divided by particular moles A reacted at time. So it is instantaneous. So at that particular time, what is the formation of R with reference to the number of moles of A consumed, and that is given by the dCr by minus dCA. dCr plus is the formation, minus dCA is the consumption. And similarly we can have a overall, find overall. So this phi is indicating the total R formed, all R formed divided by total A consumed. So CRI divided by Ca minus Cf. So this is the delta Ca, that is total of A consumed, whereas this is what is the total R formation if we consider initial R present is 0. So now this is nothing but the ultimately average yield which we are getting in a reactor. According to the PFR and CSTR, we can have a summation of it. So this is the overall fractional yield which we are getting it inside the reaction. Now we have to use this to terminology, and we have to apply for the different reactors how it can be calculated. So PFR ultimately, that is a continuous rate of change of reaction is taking place, and that's why definitely your yield is changing. So you need to integrate this instantaneous yield, find point values of each yield, and you have to integrate it over the whole range of the concentration, and that's why it is integration of psi dCA, and this is overall change in concentration dCA delta Ca. Whereas for MFR or CSTR, which you have learned that there is only one rate, and that's why definitely the selectivity will be with specifically your instantaneous yield with reference to the final concentration Cf. Fine, so there is no integration like performance reactions. Here also we are not integrating it. So these are the two overall fractional yields from the mixed plant flow can be defined as overall yield, that is with reference to, now if we have the plug flow value I can convert into mixed flow by taking a tangent like dc by dt. What is it? Or any tangent is nothing but the slope drawn, a tangent drawn to a particular curve. So if I have the whole plug flow curve, find where the yield changes specifically, I can find out overall yield of the mixed flow rate by putting a tangent. Or if I have mixed flow yield at the various places, I can integrate it over the whole concentration yield. I can get the ultimately overall plug flow yield. So if I have the one yield data, I can convert into another required yield data for the another reactor. So these are the two expressions which we can use for the further calculation. So now we can have it if there are n such mixed flow reactors. When there are multiple reactors are there, then n such mixed flow reactors in which concentration of A is maybe given by C1, Ca1, Ca2 up to Cn. The overall fractional yield is obtained by summing the fraction yields of each n vessels. Ultimately, so final overall yield in a n Rankine series is nothing but the summation of individual fractional yields, instantaneous fractional yields which we are getting in that particular reactor. Fine. So this is overall can be defined as a summation of all the fractional yields we are getting it in this particular reactor and they by total. Right. So now CRF final R formation. For any reactor, the exit concentration R is obtained from the overall yield. The overall yield is nothing but number of R formed divided by total number of moles of A consumed multiplied by total A consumed. Ca0 minus Cf. So that's why what you can get it for whether it is for CSTR or PFR. Fine, it is same correlation we are using it. So now for any type of reactor, the exit concentration R is obtained from this correlation. That is a simple, very interesting one. So now if it is a plug flow reactor, if we have the instantaneous yield versus concentration graph, so how the instantaneous yield varies from initial to final and the area under the curve, because we need to integrate it. Fine, it's the same previous correlation. Area under the curve gives you the ultimately overall yield in a particular PFR. If you are using a CSTR, definitely you have to choose any one rate at the end of the reaction like a CAF final. So this is what is going to be rectangle final rate which you are getting it, and based on that you are getting the instantaneous yield or overall yield in a mixed flow reactor. And finally, if it is a multiple reactors in a series stage reactors, we can know that. So different again CSTR is only, but multiple CSTR in a series comes in a picture. So first reactor, second reactor, or third reactor. So summation of it gives me the total mixed flow reactor volume and total yield individual reactor. So now phi versus Ca curve determining which type of the flow gives the best product distribution. Now this again is an interesting one. Which type of reactor gives me the highest possible desired product formation? Right? Which reactor? So now again this is the data, the concentration and contacting pattern with the largest area of plot of Mostar. So now if you take it, so this is the phi versus Ca data, right? This is phi versus Ca by instantaneous yield versus concentration. So now what it indicates, if you go for PFR, fine, this is your final final conversion, final concentration which you are getting it. So total product you obtain in the case of PFR is this what is area under the curve, fine, all for PFR, fine. So this is, you can see that this area is much larger, but if you choose only CSTR, then it is going to be only this area, right? Only this area which are going opposite direction. So now definitely from this graph you can see that the area of the curve under mixed flow reactor is lesser compared to the area under the curve for PFR. So that's why it suggests that if in this specific flow pattern like this S shape increasing, again like this, increasing, like as you decrease this concentration, your instantaneous yield decreases. And so like in this case, this type of nature of the flow pattern gives a better yield in terms of PFR when you choose a PFR. Exactly opposite, if this is the nature, again this is phi versus Ca curve, where it indicates that your yield data is like, if I decrease concentration initial to final concentration as varies, the yield increases. So in this scenario, now if you this is your final concentration, so in this case, with this specific nature, your overall yield in MFR is going to be this total, this whole rectangle, and this whole rectangle gives you the total yield of the CSTR, whereas MFR, PFR gives only area under the curve. Fine. So now you can see here that area under the curve PFR is much lesser compared to the total area of the CSTR. So in this pattern, CSTR is a better choice compared to the PFR. And if the nature of the your curve is like it increases in this direction and then decreases, definitely then combination of the reactors may be a better option. So in this half below CA1 to CAF, if you start with the highest concentration, you choose mixed flow reactor, but where it reaches the maximum and then beyond that CA1, then you have to choose PFR. So combination of reactors gives a better results. Fine, so this is what we are getting it, and these are the few examples which we are again like we have discussed previously. So please try to perform these examples. We will discuss next time when we have. Please go through that. Please perform this solved example and try to then perform the unsolved examples. Then we will discuss next chapter.